I'm Maya Palacio for Media Maya, partnering with Channel 82, and today I have with us Detective Sergeant Jason Smith. Mr. Smith, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Now, you are the lead investigator for the Chavelle Dillon-Burgess murder case.
Yes.
First off, I just want to start off with the timeline of Chavelle going missing, and can we get some perspective on, we know that on April 11th was the last time that she was seen, and if I'm correct, it was by a close friend of hers that had seen her. And on the April 30th is when she was reported missing. Can you tell me some perspective or some results maybe that your investigation may have found when kind of deciding why that gap was so big?
So she was actually by her friends. She was last heard from on about the 11th of April. And throughout that period of time, they had made several attempts to contact her via phone in particular, and there was no responses. And so the alarm bells began to ring. It was definitely unusual for her to not be able to be contacted or reachable, at least by phone. And so then they started to push certain buttons. And then on the 30th of April is when it came to the police attention that she was missing and had been missing or not heard from or seen since the 11th of April.
And during that time, because we know that she has a son, who was taking care of her son?
Well, at the time that she was missing, prior to the police, she was with a relative of the father's. She was with the father.
And do we know at this moment in time, does the family need any assistance by any chance from the community or anything?
Well, I think the commission, as I understand, put out a message on Facebook not too long ago asking for family or the community support to assist them. And that's an effort, I think, that's been made public over Facebook. So the information there can be used to make contact or to assist them.
Okay. So going back to the timeline, after April 30th, the police found out, what was the first steps?
So the first things we did was we went to the residence where she stayed, and that's where our search began.
Okay. And then after finding the search, and here we are today on October 5th, is it true that a 39-year-old male has been arrested for this
Yes,
case?
a man has been taken into custody for this case, yes.
Okay. Do we know anything else that you can share with us about this man, whether he be a relative of hers or someone close to her?
At this stage in the investigation, I think we're still early on with that, and there are active inquiries that are being made, so I wouldn't want to go into much detail about that. But as we did report when it happened, there is a man who has been taken into police custody, and he's currently on police bail.
How many persons have actually come forward to the police themselves and tried to give information on regards of Chavelle?
Actually, the public support has been great. There have been lots of people that have called in with bits and pieces of information, and a lot of those lines of inquiry have been pursued in an attempt to try to find her. So there's lots of public support, but we always and continuously are renewing the appeal because there's still, we believe, lots of people that haven't contacted us that may have information. So we were still actively there, but there has been a tremendous amount of public support, people calling in, people giving tips, oftentimes as well, people who are giving advice to us as investigators on where we can search and what we should be doing. So we welcome all of that.
Okay, that's good to know. What about, I know you guys had cadaver dogs come in already. I know you've checked through the Warwick ponds. Has any other ponds in Bermuda been thoroughly checked for Chavelle?
Yeah, you will find that throughout the entire island, there's several places that have been checked and searched. And then some of them are obvious, places that you were going to search. Some of them are not as obvious. And again, we are guided by information that comes in. So that's why we continually make these appeals to say to people, if you do see something, if you've seen something, if you've heard something, then make contact with us, because all of that bits of information helps us and helps to direct us as to where we're searching.
Now, what about draining ponds? Is that something that Bermuda can do? Can we drain ponds to look for things in there?
I can tell you that that's been a discussion, but whether or not it's possible, the experts say no. But all kinds of information that has come to our attention, we have looked at. We discussed lots of things. And yes, that's one of the discussions about draining the pond.
Okay. My last question before we go on break is, earlier on, in the midst of the pandemic, probably in the beginning stages, there was this video that was circulating about a chimney and some smoke.
Right.
And so you've heard about this video and
Yes,
seen
yes,
it. What were
yes.
the results that came out of that? Did you guys investigate that?
We did, yes.
And,
There was nothing in that, from an investigative point of view, that took us any further than where we are today.
okay. All right. Thank you. And when we come back, we'll be talking about why Chavelle's case is a murder case.